Welcome, everybody, to episode 60 of Mr. Robin's Hood podcast, coming to you digitally from our not-so-secret Studio C, located within a rolled yoga mats toss from hole number 2 of the Woodward Municipal Golf Course in Woodward, Oklahoma. It is I, your fearless co-host and all-around fool, Robin Hohweiler, known around these parts as Mr. Robin. I'm joined, as always, by my usually delightful co-host, brilliantly above-average collaborator, and all-around best pal, Mikel Mauree Robinson, known throughout the podcasting uni as Mikey-on-the-Mic. Mikey has officially been declared persona non grata in Oklahoma City's up-and-coming Britain district, an artsy 2-block stretch of West Britain Road, after staging what can only be described as a vinyl-fueled meltdown at a used record shop. According to Mikey...
I start breaking them over my knee.
According to Mikey... just hang on there.
Okay. Is that what you're going to say?
No.
I feel like I need a part in these stories. That's what I should be doing.
No,
that's what I'd really be doing.
I just love throwing. I prefer throwing you under the bus.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
carry on.
According to Mikey,
I love under the bus.
According to Mikey, she was merely hunting for answers and possibly a refund after a mind-numbing discovery at home totally derailed her nostalgic music plans and sent her into a blind rage. So there I am, strutting into this vinyl haven, when lo and behold, I spot the Holy Grail. Modest Mouse's 2007 opus, We Were Dead Before the Ship Even Sank, in pristine vinyl, an absolute unicorn. Do you have any idea how rare that is? Mikey wailed. I grabbed it faster than you can say dashboard, paid my cash.
Dashboard.
And practically...
I would act the same if there was a dashboard vinyl. I'd be like, dashboard.
And practically performed a victory lap to my car before that shop dude realized he had just lost the deal of his lifetime. 2.5 hours later, back in Woodward, I raced into my house. Cats were flying, my husband flat on his back, straight to my turntable, certain my rock god moment had arrived. The label screamed Modest Mouse. So you can imagine my face when I dropped the needle and heard, Captain Peelward teaches proper bathroom hygiene.
What?
45 inglorious minutes of a grown man lecturing toddlers on how to wipe their butts. Wipe up, never down.
I don't think I listened for the whole 45 minutes.
Can you believe that? I was expecting Isaac Brock bellowing dashboard. Instead, I got a poopy perv pitching toilet paper. Trauma is understatement.
Yeah, I am definitely traumatized by that.
Traumatized and outraged, Mikey hopped back.
Do I drive back up there?
Hop back in her car and...
Do I take a dump in his vinyl store?
No, but that's better than what I got, actually. And
for sending me
Oklahoma
home.
City throughout the night. Captain Peelwart LP in tow. She arrived at the record shop at 4 a.m., pounded on the locked door and demanded entry. When no one answered, she whipped out her Bowie knife, one of those rare David Bowie, or Bowie, I think. I always screw that up. Bowie fan club exclusive. Stabbed it through the album and into the door, then set it ablaze for dramatic effect.
Wow.
That's when OKC PD showed up, responding to panic calls about a deranged woman in an alley screaming, "Peelwart must die!" After a brief tasing session, Mikey was subdued and hauled off to the Oklahoma County Jail.
I think if I was having a meltdown, you would have to taser me.
In her cell, she did what any traumatized vinyl junkie would do. She broke her mustard and cheese sandwich on white bread into 4 equal squares and shared them with her fellow detainees in an effort to keep from being shanked.
Yeah.
Her public defender, F.J. Foffelworth,
What?
the third, Esquire, argued that Mikey's psyche See what I did there? Mikey
Yeah.
Psyche.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
You're so funny.
had been irrevocably shattered by the rogue record swap, and that criminal intent simply wasn't in the cards. The judge, even more of a modest mouse cultist than Mikey herself, nodded eagerly.
He was at that concert I went to at the Cotillion. I remember seeing him there.
And released her on her own recognizance. The record store owner, still shaking his head, offered Mikey a $1 discount coupon toward her next purchase of $25 or more.
$1
And,
coupon.
get this, a scratched-up vinyl copy of Frank Zappa's Ship Arriving Too Late to Save a Drowning Witch LP. Mikey accepted the offer with the grace of a wounded consumer. She shrugged. It's better than a pooping pervert, I guess. Over to you, Mikey.
Oh my God. I can't even... That one was wild. Let me just say, of all the ones that you come up with, that one's the wildest.
I win.
Yes, you do. This time. Once.
Hey, everybody. We have a very special guest for episode 60 that we've titled Get Your Namaste On.
It's Namaste.
Oh, Namaste. Get your Namaste on.
That almost sounded like get your nasty on.
Well,
Get your nasty on. That's what we're doing.
Trying to do. So
I see what you were doing there, but it's Namaste. We can't let you.
So that was with a Northwest Oklahoman accent.
You're probably not the last person that's going to pronounce it that way. That was wonderful.
The nomadic yogi herself.
Yes.
Please give a warm Mr. Robin's Hood podcast welcome to Venita McGuire, who, after that opening rap, is probably wondering what the hell she's doing here.
She's like, this is a mistake.
I had questioned it just for a minute.
As you should.
Okay, enough of that. Venita, welcome. Venita McGuire is a certified Hatha yoga instructor. See?
You got that one right.
This stuff right.
Go,
with
Robin.
additional training in yin yoga and
Ayurvedic.
See, I'm learning stuff.
Medicine. That's what we do here on Mr. Robin's Hood podcast. Right. It's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but Mr. Robin's Hood podcast.
Well, it's better than, what was his name? The Peelwort?
Yeah, definitely better than that.
Rooted in a lifelong connection to the practice, she has spent the past 5 years deepening her understanding of yoga's physical, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. Venita began her teaching journey at Sky Yoga Studio and currently teaches at the Woodward Wellness Center, where she has also served as a spin and fitness instructor for over 13 years. Her classes skillfully blend the dynamic intensity of power yoga with the meditative stillness of yin, offering a practice that is both energizing and deeply restorative. Boy, I tell you, I'm struggling today. A proud Northwest Oklahoma native, Venita lives with her husband of 27 years, Brad, and she is a devoted mother of 2 daughters, a loving mother-in-law, and a proud nana to 3 grandsons. Venita believes yoga is not only a path to physical healing, but also a powerful tool for emotional restoration. Through nomadic yogi, Venita brings yoga beyond the studio walls, hosting unique classes in museums, historic stages, and community spaces. Her traveling practice reflects her belief that yoga belongs anywhere people gather with intent, curiosity, and an open heart. In addition to her regular teaching schedule, she also leads community-based classes benefiting local organizations such as the Plains Indians and Pioneers Museum and the Woodward Arts and Theater Council. Through her teaching and service, she continues to inspire others to move, breathe, heal, and connect wherever they are. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me. I'm honored.
Well, thank you for
Yes.
coming in and not running out the door.
Yeah,
Start to
'cause
wrap.
Robin has that effect on people, you know? It's
Well,
definitely not me.
I sense that about him, but yeah, I figure if you're here that I'll be
It's safe.
okay.
Yeah, I'll keep you safe. So, yeah, it's funny because it dawned on me the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to interview Venita about yoga. Because, well, one, I feel like yoga is kind of a creative thing as well. I mean, I know that you plan your classes, you know, you just don't get in there and start. There's actual thought that goes into it. But before we get into all of that, we want to start with the, same way we start off most of our interviews. Am I stealing your thunder?
Well, yeah, because it's kind of a bogus question.
Why is it bogus?
Because she didn't see this one. The way we start off interviews with all of our live guests, you need to tell us all of your deepest, darkest secrets. Trust us, we won't tell anybody. Just kidding.
I'm afraid of clowns.
Really? Well,
Well, that's
don't-
interesting.
good thing we're not doing this at my house. You'd be freaked to pull them out. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
You snuck that in.
Yeah, I was trying to be a wise.
You usually are, but sometimes I try to sabotage your wise guyiness. But anyhow, first question that we like to ask is, the simple one. What first inspired you to even try yoga? Tell us about that.
The first time I tried yoga, I was in cheerleading camp.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it was the most horrible experience of my
Oh,
life.
no. See, we didn't do that at my cheerleading camp. There was no yoga there.
You had a choice. It was like everybody, you could go to breakfast early or you could go over to one of the fitness classes. And one was like traditional calisthenics and the other one was yoga. And you basically had a towel on wet grass.
Oh,
And it wasn't a great experience.
doesn't sound like it.
It wasn't.
So how old were you?
I was like maybe 12.
12.
Yeah.
That's when I started cheerleading too.
So,
Wow.
but real yoga, I feel like I truly started my journey in 2020. I mean, I've done yoga for years off and on, the random Denise Austin video or PBS video early in the morning at like 6:30 in the morning. But never truly what I felt like was real yoga. I had gone to a random class here and there, and so I understood the basics. But it was once I plugged in a community setting that it all all snapped into place for me. And that's where it began. Was really actually at Sky Yoga.
Yeah,
for me.
I was going to say I had gone to several classes there when they were over on 34th in that little studio. I had gone to a few because I've always been interested in it, but I definitely didn't take it to the place Venita has taken it. But I follow Venita wherever she goes. Mostly, I can't make it to ShatterCon because I work, but I would probably be there as well. But that's really interesting because we've never even had this conversation. We've had many of conversations, and I don't know that I've ever asked you that, which is one of the things that was making me curious about this because when, Sky kind of left and you didn't have that outlet, your devotion to finding a way to continue that and then doing it in a service sense with like the museum and the arts theater, I feel like that's kind of a game changer because you came to me with that. So
to me, I feel like yoga is about service. I think you need to be someone who is not in it for money or not in it for, I'm doing this fancy commercial mimosas on the the rooftop in Oklahoma City kind of class.
Right.
It's meant to connect, but also give back at the same time. And I feel like that's where I want to come from. I want to be in service of my community.
Yeah. I think it's great because it's a great thing, both physically but spiritually and all the encompassing. So how has your yoga journey evolved over the years? It's been technically 5 years that you've really, so we could speak to those specific years since that's.
I do need to go back just a little bit. What really piqued my interest the most in yoga, made me actually like yoga, was the power element of yoga and the workout and the strength training. And I had these Bob Harper videos. That was this yoga series. And there was this one pose in there that was the bird of paradise.
Yeah, that one's.
I love that pose, and I thought it was just the coolest thing, and I was like, I'm going to master that. I don't care if I have to do this video 1,000 times. And so that's where it ignited my interest, but then it kind of went into hibernation mode until it was woke back up. And so I found myself during COVID, like 2020, I found myself semi-unemployed. Due to a downturn in oil and gas. But I also found myself in a transition physically. I was injured, and I was also not in the best of places emotionally either. And so I walked in the sky and told Natalie I wanted to get a membership. And after that, I started actually teaching at Sky pretty quickly. But I was teaching Pilates. I'd been obsessed with Pilates for a long time.
Pilates was awesome. I love that class. That's the one I used to come to a lot.
Yeah. And so that's how I kind of started transitioning into teaching. But Natalie really needed some help and, needed a couple extra instructors because she was doing a lot of classes. And I wanted to help relieve that for her.
Right.
But I wasn't just going to jump in there. If I was going to do it, I was going to do it right. And so I wanted to start my teacher training. And so I kind of did my teacher training as well as started teaching classes along the way. And one thing that was good for me is I got extra practice because I was able to come and apply what I was learning almost immediately in classes. And so they were able to kind of evolve with me a little bit as my practice was evolving.
That's interesting.
When and how did you first start to feel the benefits from practicing yoga?
Almost immediately, honestly. Just taking time on the mat and stepping away from everything and just be on the mat. Just that alone, just a few full deep breaths, and it already starts to make you feel better. And so one class, you don't have to be a yogi. You don't have to do this for 20 years. You can be in one class. You can sit here and take a couple full deep breaths, and that's yoga.
Sure. When I was much younger, and I was in the Navy and living it was a dorm-style barracks. And I'd come across a book that I couldn't possibly tell you the name of it, but it was published by St. Andrew's Press. And they had a fairly thick section in there about yoga, beginner's yoga, with really great illustrations and explanation about what you needed to do and why that was important and that sort of thing. And for as long as I was a teenager, I had injured my back and I couldn't bend over to touch my toes. Just couldn't do it. But after a month of that, just doing those few poses every morning, within a month, I was able to do that. So I recognized early on the at least certainly the physical aspects or the what you can gain from that, from doing those poses or exercises, whatever. But I didn't pursue it. I didn't keep it up for whatever reason.
You're never too old for yoga.
It's very true.
You can start again.
Yeah, you could come to yoga at the museum.
Maybe. But for yourself, you had mentioned that you had been injured at some point. I assume that was on the job?
No, because I've basically been an athlete my whole life. It started out with cheerleading, and then I had a little hiatus, but then I've always done random workout videos and stuff. And then, like I said, the last 13 years I've taught it, or like you said, actually, at the wellness center. And so I've taught spin, but also during this time frame, I was lifting pretty heavy. And at one point, I was deadlifting and squatting my own body weight. And so it did a little damage along the way. My back wasn't so great, and I was also a runner. And so at one point, I had tore my IT band at the top of my hip and still ran. And then later on moved into some CrossFit and did that for several years, which was just terrible, terrible on your body.
Yeah, they didn't start out thinking so, and then it kind of came out later, like, this actually is not good for you to be doing.
No, especially when you have a degenerative disc disease.
Yes, especially.
But you've seen improvement.
Absolutely. I have restricted myself to only spin and walking and doing just body weight and, yoga specifically. So the strength training that I get is all through yoga. And so over this last 5 years, since I haven't been lifting heavy, I've not lost any muscle mass. My biceps still look the way they did when I was lifting heavy. And so, they may be a little bit leaner, but I don't feel like I've lost anything. I've done nothing but gain. And I'd also separated my shoulder. And so I spent some time in physical therapy. I spent some time at McBride, and chiropractor, they all said, you need to stop doing this and start treating your body better. And so when I walked into that studio and signed up with Natalie, it was about basically creating my own physical therapy process. And, this is what fitness is going to look like for me moving forward. So at first it was all about the asana and all about the power and all about the work, because I couldn't do what I was used to be doing. And so, but it wasn't until I had evolved a little bit, and next thing I knew, there was little pieces of emotional healing that was slipping in between the poses.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, the physical brought me, but the emotional kept me.
I see. Great.
And that's what locked me in, because I wanted to do that for other people.
Yeah.
I want to give you stillness if you are feeling batshit crazy.
Yeah.
I want to help you bring it down a notch.
Yeah. Okay.
In a safe way.
Yeah, because it encompasses a lot of meditation too. I mean, part of the practice is the breaths and doing things that you would do when you meditate, but also adding the physical. And yeah, it's just, I don't know.
A lot of people are very confronted by stillness.
Yeah.
I myself was one of them. I hated yin yoga. I hated restorative yoga and even like after a good power yoga class, the corpse pose at the end, I just couldn't hold still. It was just too much for me because I couldn't stand being alone with myself. But over time, those moments of stillness, I started finding more and more comfort in, and allowing myself to be supported, because that community made me feel supported. And so I just kept, like I said, I healed my shoulder. I could probably lift again if I wanted to, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But my shoulder's healed. My hips are as good as they're going to get as an old lady. But, I feel like I've come a really long way. I went from being unemployed angry, menopausal, injured to now I feel like I'm a lot more settled and just at peace with myself in general and other people around me.
Yeah. That's a great place to be. And basically what you're saying is you found this through finding yoga. So that's
Absolutely.
pretty amazing. So if you haven't tried yoga, here's my commercial to hit up one of Venita's classes. Not just at the gyms, because yeah, by all means do that too, but also at the museum and the arts theater and anywhere else she may come up with finding at some point. So I have to drop that in there.
I'm totally open to ideas as well.
Right?
I would love to do something at the band shell at Crystal
That
Beach.
would be cool.
I think that'd be kind of
I
fun.
know who you need to talk to.
Cool.
Maybe not during the summer when it's
Not like today, but there's a lot of months that you could do that, and it could be, filtered into the other things you have going on. So, there's some of these questions that you've kind of already answered, but the next one that pops up here is, what is the focus of your instruction? So I feel like you have several different ones. You've kind of evolved and have your yin. Maybe talk about each one of those and your process of building a practice for your class. And
Okay, so I have, originally my first love is actually power, just because that's what brought me here.
Yeah.
And I still love a really good workout. And so with a power yoga class, I've tried to keep those at the gyms because there are a lot of cardio and a lot of strength. And so when I create a class like that, I'm taking it through, I want to bring you in, connect you to your mat, and then I want to rev you up and heat your body up and then bring you to that peak pose. But once I get you there to the top where you've been twisted and turned and your body's moved in every which direction, then I'm going to bring you back down to the mat and start bringing you back down to the cool side. So I still try to find, even though it's a power yoga class, I've got to bring that element of coolness in because I want to bring you up and then I want to bring you back down so that you come from child's pose to corpse pose.
Right.
So that by the time you're done and you're laying there in your savasana, I want you to feel like absolute magic when you come back up. You should be able to take on anybody when you come off your mat. When it comes to the arts theater specifically, we've been blessed with the wonderful historic space. And so I've always, even before we lost the studio, we were trying to find different avenues for inspiring people and bringing them to yoga. And I felt like reaching out into the community in that way might help connect some people. And so that was a space that when you stand on that stage, there's this special hush. It's almost like standing out in the snow when it's just snowed.
Right.
There's this hush, and it's just like you could do anything in that moment. And so that's what I felt like. It had to be a yin class specifically for the theater.
Yeah.
And it's going to stay a yin class specifically because it's just specifically the best place for that.
Yeah.
And so last time we had a pretty magical class. The thunderstorm came in and you could hear it on the roof.
Yep.
And so that was pretty cool. But then when it comes to the theater, or not the theater, excuse me, the museum, it kind of, I want to be able to move with the different parts of the museum. And so with my first couple classes, I kept it specifically geared toward what the display was at the time. The first one was a Native American art display. And so I geared the practice towards, good grounded, steeped in the elements and a little bit of the music too was kind of Native American. But then the next one was a watercolor display. And so I wanted to make that more of a flowing class. So there was a little bit more of a flow related to that class. And, the elements I brought in were more related to flow and water and the colors. And then the outdoor one, naturally outdoors, you got to do things just a little bit different because you're outside on the grass. But I try to keep that where there's not a whole lot of flow because up and down could cause some slippage. And so, but that's just a little bit of, you warm up a little bit and then spend a lot of time on your mat with deep, good stretching.
Oh.
And then from there, we'll be doing our next one is September.
Next one is August 9th.
Yep. Yeah, and that one we'll be doing with the exhibits. And so I've been putting some thought into, how we could make that space its own special flow and what kind of energy is there. And I guess that's, for me, I try to match the flow to the space.
Uh-huh.
And
I think that's a great idea.
What type of,
because it adds to the experience collectively of the practice.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool, which is something you can't just get in like your conventional yoga studio. I mean, nothing against that, but you can add extra elements into the practice by doing them in historic places and in places like the museum that are filled with artifacts and relics and art. So
there is a lot of yoga that is just, it is so old. It's older than I could possibly even begin to explain.
Right.
And so there's a lot that has come from our ancestors. And so there's a lot of very good energy that comes, from history and from the artifacts. And so I feel like that provides a different kind of energy that again, will provide a different experience.
Yes.
What kind of challenges have you faced in your yoga practice, and how did you overcome that? I know that sounds like a job interview question, but
that does sound very job interview. Honestly, I'm my own worst enemy. Imposter syndrome takes me over once in a while, and I start thinking, gosh, am I good enough? But then I have to stop and remember there's no place for ego in yoga. And so that's how I overcome it is, sometimes you're going to fall. Sometimes you're not going to have the best balance. Sometimes you're just not in the right headspace.
Mm-hmm.
And so each practice is going to look different for everyone. And so, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So basically, in other words, there's challenges that come in every practice. You just don't always know what they're going to look like, and you just have to
deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is great, because it's like, just like my mom used to say, well, life isn't fair, and that was her answer to why something didn't go the way that it was supposed to. Well, life isn't fair. That's not how it works, So
I guess if you're, that sounded kind of deep. That was kind of a deep answer. But if you're talking a little more surface level, I had one lady that farted in class all the time.
That's awesome. She was releasing her stress through flatulence. Come on.
Here's the thing. Everybody does at some point. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, exactly.
Real challenge-wise, I had one that always wanted to answer her phone. She wanted to be on her phone all the time. And when I explained that it's not about her practice, it's the fact that she's messing up everybody else's practice, that she finally understood. She's like, oh, okay. Gotcha.
You're like, if part of your practice is looking at your phone, go home and do it there. No. But I understand.
Also, I know that you and your husband travel to Ireland like once a year, probably maybe more.
I would love for it to be more. Fortunately, I have a budget. It's worked out to about every 18 months to, I guess if we was to average it out, COVID interfered a little bit at one point, but we're getting ready to go back, actually.
Oh, good. Have you ever like traveled to India or?
No, I never have. And honestly, there's so many people there. I feel like it would be really overwhelming if I could just pop into just the exact places or some specific temples that I wanted to see. Then maybe I would, but it just seems like a lot. And I've seen how their traffic is, and I think I would have a stroke before I made it out of the airport.
Right. Just by the traffic alone.
Yes.
Well,
I
guess
that's
you could
relatable.
say the same thing about Southern California.
Yeah.
Because LA, I know there's a huge, always has been, kind of a huge yoga movement out there.
I have done
Have you?
yoga in LA, yes.
Oh.
Or, well, it was actually on Venice Beach.
Oh.
Um,
Actually, that's even cooler than LA. I've been to Venice Beach, and it was a pretty cool place.
I also did, my sister and I went to Palm Springs, and we went to this place. It was so cool. It was Al Capone's hideout. It was called Two Bunch Palms. There's actually still bullet holes.
Oh, nice.
But we went there to do like these mud baths and everything. We signed up for yoga and Tai Chi, right?
Mhm.
So the first one's the Tai Chi guy. And he's obviously way impressed with himself. He's there to make $1. And so I'd never done Tai Chi before, so I thought I'd try it. Well, then the next class was our yoga class. And my sister and I both, I'd done probably a little bit more than she had, but so we get pointed towards this round hut situation. And we're like, okay, what is this? And we go in, and it's this big, sweaty hut inside.
Ooh.
And so we get our mats and everything. We're like, what are we fixing to see or
What's about
experience
to
here?
happen here?
And this guy comes out, and he's like bending ways that I've never seen a human being before in person. I've seen it on TV, but I was like, oh my gosh, are we supposed to do this? And he kind of calmed down and was like, okay, well, we're going to do it this way. I was just showing you some stuff, And
You're like, wow.
God. But so we did this class with him, and we sweat buckets, and we walk out of there shaking, thinking, what did we just go through? And so that was probably one of the most extreme yoga experiences I've ever had. It was cool. I mean, the guy was wearing an actual diaper situation, and
wow.
he was fully immersed in his own personal
no
yoga
doubt
experience.
He was hardcore.
So, but yeah, that was, well, I don't know, that's so Southern, but it's California, and they do take their yoga very serious there.
Sounds like it. It's almost, I feel like I want to experience something like that just to say that I did, because that sounds pretty wild.
So yoga, as you've mentioned, has been practiced in one form or another for probably thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
And the practice that you teach, is it rooted in those ancient origins, or have you kind of developed your own sort of version?
I because I'm evolving and because I'm learning, and I'm still like consuming as much information as I can. Right now, I do have my own style a little bit, but it's because I am still learning, and as I learn, I continue to, even though I don't have a studio class, I'm still continuing to apply everything I learn every day. And so, you guys will get to evolve with me, and the more I learn, my style, I would say, it's Ashtanga is what you would call it, and it's based on the 8 limbs of yoga. And the 8 limbs of yoga come from a teacher, philosopher, Patanjali, and he organized the yogic teachings. He didn't create them. He's not the writer, but he organized the yoga teachings that he had understood so far into what they call the Yoga Sutras. And this was done probably like 6 to 200 BCE. And so that's when all of this information was compiled. And they don't know if Patanjali was a man or if Patanjali was a collection of individuals. But Patanjali assembled this text and giving you a basic guide of the yoga philosophy. And so, yes, it is based and continues to get a little bit deeper every day.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and I knew yoga had gone back so many years, so just to hear you talk about it, it's like, wow. I don't really know jack about the history of yoga, turns out.
I almost sent the Yoga Sutras to you the other day, but it is so much because they are really hard to understand.
Right, I can imagine.
And you do have to go through several times if you're trying to understand this specific book that I've been working with. But I've even read things called Yoga for Dummies.
Right.
I've consumed all things yoga. I love the take on different philosophies across the world, different religions, different understandings of the world. But truly, out of everything that I've read and everything that I've watched and consumed over the years, yoga has the deepest, most balanced philosophy for me that it applies to life across the board. And it doesn't matter what your religion is, because yoga is not a religion. It is a philosophy and a way of living.
Yep.
You got some other questions over there? I see you eyeballing them. I'm kind of looking
I
through them
am.
too, but
so in your time teaching others, what do you enjoy most about sharing your practice with others?
I love for them to be rolling up their mats. Actually, but the moment before that, like after a good power yoga class where I've like busted their ass and then brought them back down to that moment of connection and that internal reflection, sometimes it's not a matter of if you break on the mat, it's going to be when you do. And so sometimes when you're confronted with such an energetic flow and then connected so deeply and grounded so deeply, it brings a lot of emotion up. And so I love to see that happen for someone. I love to see that yoga, that they connected so much with that practice that it affected them to the point where they needed a moment before they could even lift their head to come off the mat. And I'm not reveling in that emotional moment. I am reveling in the fact that they connected so much with themselves and that moment of being alone with themselves, that they had that moment. And so it's magical. And sometimes, people go a long time without having that. And then there's other times where it's their first time on the mat and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm crying. And I'm like, you're crying because I did it right.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I've been in a class that people have been brought to tears. I've even been brought to tears a few times. And it's weird because you don't have control over it. But then it feels nice because it's like, oh, well, it was kind of a relief to
Like
not hold that in,
Like you just spent an hour at the therapist.
Yeah, exactly. Except I didn't tell them shit, I didn't say a single word. Maybe like a ground, like, because some like what I think a misconception sometimes is yoga, like the power yoga she's talking about. That is a workout. You will sweat. I mean, it is definitely when they're like, "Oh, yoga, lame." Like, no, you haven't been to some serious yoga because it can definitely make you question what you got into in a good way, But
So, what would be your best advice for someone interested in trying yoga for the first time?
Honestly, I mean, I hate to add that added expense to people if they're trying yoga for the first time, but new yogis need to get your own mat. That mat is a place for you. That is your space. That is a place where you're going to sweat. You're going to cry. You use a lot of energy and you pull in a lot of energy. And I feel like that mat is your personal space. It's like your underwear. You're not going to go to the gym and put on someone else's underwear. Bring your own mat.
But do you have people show up that don't have a mat or don't?
Oh yeah, yeah. And we accommodate them. But I always say, if you want to continue,
yeah,
get your own mat because there is something special about your own mat. You get really territorial. Somebody even steps on your mat and it's like, hey, get off my mat. Don't touch my mat.
That's my mat.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's one of those things is it's not a huge investment. If you get, certain ones can be more expensive, but you don't have to get the expensive one to have a really great yoga practice. I started
got
out
them
with
for $5 at Walls.
Yeah. Yeah. I invested after I was doing it a while. Now I have a nice one.
You do have a really nice one. You have Manduka?
Yes. Which you actually told me because I said, okay, I'm gonna get a mat. I need some advice on what to get. And so
other than the mat, I mean, that's the again with superficial. That's you don't have to mat. You can have a towel.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the actual practice, I would say my biggest advice to someone is to ignore everyone else around you. This is your practice and only your practice. You'll stumble, you'll fall, but it's still your practice. And everyone is at different stages in their life and in their practice. And just because the chick next to you has done the crow pose 37,000 times because they saw it on the video and they were trying to master it. You don't know that, but all of a sudden they're doing this perfect crow next to you and the comparison that ekes in. So just remember that comparison is the thief of joy and there is no place in ego. And so you need to just focus on your own self.
Yeah. Yeah. And just ignore everybody else in the room. Because if you do get caught up on that, you don't really have the same, or not the same, you don't have the experience that it's intended to have that when you come in there.
No.
You've really got to come with an open heart, as they say, with no cares in the world.
No ego.
Yeah.
The ego.
Yeah, and then if you just rip ass, it's cool. It
is actually cool.
Nobody even actually does it. I mean, except maybe a little snicker, but that's normal. Some people can't hold that shit in. But
there was one class that we all just busted out laughing. We
there you go.
Help it because she laughed first.
Well, and then she opened. So that's the best ones, right? So
those are the best ones.
Yes, for sure.
As serious as yoga can sound, ultimately, when you're done, no matter what you've done, whether it's a slow flow or a sweet and slow kind of class, or if it's the yin, or if it's the power, you always walk away with this certain like something's been lifted off of you.
Mhm.
And even if you've got a lot going on and you're just trying to keep your head above water, you can go to yoga, and at least for a little while afterwards, your head's clear, your heart's a little bit lighter. And sometimes, I feel like I don't have the knee jerk that I used to have. I don't have well, what the hell do you mean by that kind of reaction with people that I'm not as defensive. And so it's just helped reel me in several ways. And it's helped me be way more present, not just in myself, but with my family. And there's just so many advantages, and you do not have to be flexible to do yoga.
No.
You have to actually come to yoga. That's why.
Yeah. Well, and the more you do it, the more flexible you become. Yeah, that's definitely true. But you don't have to be flexible to come to yoga. And one of the other things too that I've noticed is whenever you're in a class and the yoga instructor will say, listen to your body. Like if I'm saying, touch your toes in this pose, but touching your toes is causing actual pain, then don't actually touch your toes. Just go to, but there will be some discomfort. But, knowing the difference between, the discomfort and the actual pain, and listening to your body and adjusting to what your body's saying. And then you find that over time you can touch your toes, after doing it over and over.
And somewhere in between those poses, you find a lighter heart.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, eased mind, less chaos.
The world could use a lot more of that.
For sure.
There's been more than once that I've posted on WooTown Review. Y'all need yoga.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you how to get some.
Yeah. let me post all the places you can attend it, because you need it. I understand that. Well, Venita, thank you so much for joining us today. I open it up if you have anything else that we didn't touch on that you thought about that you wanted to add. Maybe tell people how they can find you, like if you have a Facebook page, or however you're doing that, or just mentioning the places you yoga.
Where I yoga. Okay, so I can be found every Wednesday evening at 5:30 p.m. at the Woodward Wellness Center. If you will watch my Facebook or add me on Facebook, I'm Venita McGuire. I do not have a specific page yet. I have started a process, but I haven't quite got there yet.
You'll get there.
Doing some other planning and stuff. Along the way, I have been teaching at the Arts Theater as well as the Plains Indian Museum. And so we've got several scheduled. Do you have that schedule in front of you?
I can get it real quick.
I know we've got this coming week. We've got the 31st, July 31st, is Stillness on Stage at the Woodward Arts, the Woodward Arts Theater. And then August 9th is at the Museum,
8:30 to 9:30. And then trying to find the one that has all of yours. Here it is. Okay, and then Thursday, September 11th, again at the Arts Theater, 7 p.m. Then the 13th at 10 a.m. is a Saturday at Pulse Fitness in Shattuck. And then Saturday, September 20th, 8:30 at the museum again. And then, as she said, Wednesdays at the Wellness Center at 5:30. So that's the upcoming one so far. And then we have one more we've planned since then at the museum that we're going to do in October. It's going to be an evening one. Normally we've been doing them in the morning, but we wanted to do something with the full moon and outside on the museum grounds. And so Yeah, that'll be.
We're going to sacrifice Robin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
With all the little robins that hang out at the museum, all the little bird
Good luck.
robins.
People have tried.
We
But
will succeed.
I
No.
do have a question. So you're teaching at the Wellness Center.
Yes.
Do you have to be a member to do that, or?
You do not have to be. We do day passes, and which is actually still cheaper than it would be if you would do day passes for a normal yoga class.
Okay.
So it's only $10 for a day pass.
Oh.
If you wanted to come on a Wednesday, get your day pass in the morning. Come, walk, maybe do a little tanning in the tanning bed, check out some of the equipment, then you can come back that evening for yoga.
Oh, okay.
There's even showers if you need to take a shower.
Fancy.
Oh, that's great. Great. Okay. Well,
So, but
thank
anyway,
you.
I'm sorry. You can get a day pass. It was
Okay,
for.
good.
Did I tell you how much it was? $10.
$10.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think there's probably a lot of people wondering, great, I go in there, they're going to want $50 or something.
No.
No, that's very reasonable
Yeah, that is.
and accommodating.
Mhm.
Certainly.
And really, if you decided you were coming every Wednesday, then that's basically the price of a single membership show.
There's a,
Mhm.
oh.
So,
That place has always kind of scared me. I mean, it's always, it always appeared to me to be a judgment zone.
no,
And
there is that is the best place ever due to, I mean, just, it's super clean. I mean, it doesn't even smell like a gym inside, which is
Yeah.
really weird to me. It's always been, Crazy's always worked so hard to keep it clean. But that's one thing that she's been very proud of is, anybody that comes in there with that lunk mentality, she lets them know. She sets them straight. If you're coming in your shorty shorts and your sports bra, she's going to send you back out the door to put a shirt on.
Nice.
And I love that. I mean, I want to be able to go in and, people need to be able to walk into the gym and feel comfortable in their own space because
Right.
it's hard enough to get there
Right.
without somebody making you feel bad about being there.
Exactly.
yeah.
So,
Great. Well, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Sure appreciate this.
thank
And
you.
we
guys.
hope you folks conveniently listening at home or in your car enjoyed that. And if you have any questions for either Mikey or myself about today's episode or any other darn thing, you can email us at mr.robin@mrrobinshood.com or Mikey@mrrobinshood.com. Also, you can find us on Facebook at Mr. Robin's Hood Podcast. As always, you can also reach out to Mikey or me via Podophone at 580-827-0472. Maybe you just want to get something off your chest or you're feeling some butt pain because of something we said during the podcast. Give us a call.
Give Robin a call.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually the one with the phone.
You are.
Keep in mind that we aren't likely to answer, but you can leave a voicemail. Text us if you have a question, concern, complaint, compliment, suggestion, whatever. Just don't be a dick about it. In the meantime, tell all your friends to listen to this podcast as though their lives depend upon it. As always, you can stream or download episodes of Mr. Robin's Hood Podcast wherever you usually find that sort of nonsense. We're on, and we're no longer
Not
on
anymore.
Spotify. They kicked us off.
Because we went to video and they were like, we don't do video. Bye. Bye, Felicia.
Spotify, this is for you.
Oh, yeah. Robin has a message.
iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, the Podbean app, Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Listen Notes, and Podchaser. Oh, and we're on YouTube, of course.
Oh, yeah. We're on the tube, on the YouTube.
You can also stream them directly from our Podbean website at mrrobinshoodpodcast.podbean.com for free. So we'll close now by reminding everyone, as we always do,
to stay hungry, stay foolish, and most importantly, stay weird. Bye.